Today, we'll have Sarah's first Disneyland trip. That's coming up on this episode 526 of WW Prep to Go. Hello and welcome to WW Prep to Go, where we talk strategy and ideas for people planning their Disney trips. I am your host, Shannon Albert from WDWPrepSchool.com. Thank you for being here for episode 526. Today is a Disney World person going to Disneyland for the first time. If you've been around for any amount of time, you probably know that this is a particular passion of mine. And the reason it's a passion of mine is that it took me a little bit of time to get myself to Disneyland. I just thought Disney World's so much bigger. Why would I ever bother with Disneyland? And then once I went, I was like, oh, okay, now I need to tell everybody about it. And I've been talking about it ever since. So I was very excited to hear that Sarah wanted to spend her birthday there. And I'm always interested to hear the comparisons and what people think. And in this trip report, she also does share her budget at the end. So you can kind of compare to what you might spend on your personal trips, particularly ones at Disney World, because it's interesting to compare the two. Before I dive into my chats with Sarah, as always, a reminder to follow on social media, a reminder that the only way to be a guest on a trip report like this is to use the SpeakPipe information that's linked in the show notes of every episode. Or if you don't have show notes in your podcast app, it's speakpipe.com/WWPrep2Go. And also a reminder that the way to listen to these episodes ad-free is to either be a patron or have YouTube Premium, because the ads will not be inserted on either of those platforms. We also have a lot more content on Patreon other than just ad-free episodes, so feel free to join if you haven't yet. I think that's it for the intro. Let's dive into my chats with Sarah. Welcome to the podcast, Sarah.
Thank you, Shannon. Very excited to be here. I've listened to quite a lot of these, so it's very fun to be a part of it.
So you know how it works. So let's talk about your trip. We're talking right now on Monday, July 27th. When is your upcoming trip?
I am leaving this Friday. That would be July 31st. And this is a little bit different for me. So I'm very much a Disney World person, and I'm on the East Coast, get down there relatively frequently, but this is going to be my first time going to California to go to Disneyland.
That is exciting. And how long is that trip going to last?
So we are there from July 31st through August 5th.
Okay. Now, why did you decide to try Disneyland now after doing Disney World for so long?
So it's a trip with myself and my dad. And my dad is a big reason why we're doing Disneyland. It is my first trip there. It is not his. He actually went when he was 10 years old. So that would be 1965.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he has a lot of nostalgia from that trip. I think it was his mom and dad, his brother and sister. I think it was just a core memory trip for him. We had talked about taking this trip last year for his 70th birthday, and for whatever reason, it just didn't work out. So this year, we were absolutely determined we were going to do it, to head back out there. I still remember him talking about riding the Matterhorn bobsleds. I think that really stuck with his 10-year-old self. So yeah, just reliving some of that nostalgia for him, I think, is a big part of why we decided to make the trip out there. And I feel like, when I think about the parks and what Walt intended, I feel like that's such a big part of it is you create these memories as a child, and then you create more memories with your kids and your grandkids. And so, I don't know, I think Walt would approve of this trip.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so it's you and your dad, and you're going for a week or so. And
Yes, 4 full days.
Okay, 4 full park days.
Yes.
Okay, so and you said you're going from the East Coast, so that's going to be a bit of flight time, I assume, on Friday, July 31st?
It is, yes. So I have a work commitment on Friday morning, so we can't leave until kind of late. And honestly, Shannon, that makes me very nervous because we're in Virginia. We're flying through Charlotte, both of which have quite a lot of storms in the summer. So we'll see how that works out. But we leave about 2:50 from our local airport, about an hour layover in Charlotte, and then a direct flight from Charlotte out to John Wayne.
Okay, at least you're going to John Wayne. So on that end, it's a short drive.
I know, and, that's like your first big decision I feel like you have to make is where am I gonna fly to? Because it seems like a lot of people wanna go to LAX. I think it's cheaper for some people, it's got a lot more options. But for us, we were thinking, okay, it's farther away from the parks. Traffic is a wild card. You can't catch an Uber directly from the terminal there. You have to take the shuttle. So getting in a little bit later, we just decided we're just going to do John Wayne. I hope that's the right decision.
Yeah, I think so. It's easy. I think I've gotten in and out of 5 airports, and there's literally pros and cons of all of them, but
Hmm.
this is the
Sure.
easiest one. Okay, so you are landing what's your landing time?
We land right after 8 o'clock. I think 8:06 is our landing time. So if for and that seems great, right? It's a great time to land. For us, it's going to feel like 11 o'clock. And my dad and I travel together quite a lot. We have very similar travel rhythms, and part of that is going to bed early and waking up early. So I think the time change is going to be like the big wild card of this whole trip and how we adapt. We're very used to going east, like to Europe and places like that, not so much west. So I don't know. We'll see how we do. I need some tips and tricks to get through the time change.
Yeah, it does feel like time travel for sure, and even as somebody who lives on the West Coast now, in Portland, it my body in all the years I'm used to a different time zone, I feel like I just wanna stay on that schedule. So it is a little bit nutty, but you're landing around 8 p.m., and where
Yes.
are you going? Where are you staying?
So this first night we're actually staying off-site. We are staying at the SpringHill Suites Anaheim main gate.
Mhm,
And I picked this for no other reason than it was a Marriott that was close to the park and it had the cheapest rate.
mm,
No real thought was put behind that, but it looks like a great hotel. They have fireworks facing
mhm.
rooms, I think, if you want those. But yeah, for us, all we're doing is sleeping there for a couple hours. This on-site off-site thing, like that's another really interesting thing about Disneyland
Mhm.
when you come from World. And I think if I came back with like a family and I needed multiple rooms, I would be really hard pressed to stay on site. They've got the 3 hotels, but you don't get any of the benefits that you get at Disney World, right? Like I mean, I
You
would
get
always.
1 free lightning lane for your whole trip.
Yes, yes, and, I would always tell people at Disney World, like, "Stay on site, stay on site." I don't know, I'll see, but I'm not sure about Disneyland. You don't get the early theme park entry anymore. You don't get early Lightning Lane booking. You don't the transportation is not an issue. So, yeah, I don't know, but, yeah, this first night, we're gonna stay off-site, at
Okay.
that SpringHill Suite, so we'll see how that is.
Alright, so you're landing there, and I bet you're there by 9 o'clock, and you'll just go to
Hopefully.
bed. It sounds like you're just
Yes.
gonna go to bed.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will. We're
Okay,
gonna try to stay up. We're gonna try. We'll see.
how are you getting there, by the way?
We'll just Uber. Yeah, just grab an Uber. I don't think it's like you said, I think it's pretty close.
Mhm.
I don't think that'll be an issue.
Okay, then what is your plan on Saturday, August 1st?
Yes. So this is a big day. It's actually my birthday, and that's part of why we chose these dates is we're going to be celebrating my birthday and my dad's birthday while we're there. And so August 1st is my 45th birthday. I'll own it. And I have been able to celebrate a couple birthdays in Disney parks before. Would highly recommend. It is so lovely and it takes a little bit of the sting out of, getting a year older. So definitely would recommend that if you're able. But yeah, so we're gonna just wake up. I'm sure really really early. Like hopefully maybe we can make it past 4 o'clock. I don't know, but we'll just pack up whatever we've taken out, and we are going to the Grand Californian. So that's where we're going to be spending the rest of our time for this trip. I think it's an incredibly short Uber ride. I almost think we could walk,
You
but
can't. You
I
could.
think with luggage, we may just want to grab the Uber, who knows? But yeah, just a really short little ride or walk to Grand Californian.
Okay. Have you stayed at Wilderness Lodge before?
So I have not. We've been there many times, but have never stayed there. And I get that vibe from Grand
Mhm.
Californian. And it's funny because when we talked about this trip for so many years. Like my dad is my Disney buddy because my husband doesn't like it. My dad's always gone with me and my boys. So yeah, we've always said it's got to be Grand Californian. I don't know why, but that has just always been where we've wanted to stay. So it had to be that for this trip.
Okay. I mean, if you've been to Wilderness Lodge, so it will feel
Yes.
familiar. It's the same architect, live very similar look.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're switching the Grand Californian very early, it sounds like,
Yes.
in the day, and then what?
So we'll drop our bags. I want to chat with the front desk. I know it's a huge resort. I would love to try to ask for something maybe closer to the lobby. I know you can be put pretty far away where you're far from everything. So, never hurts to ask nicely and see what happens. I really went back and forth about like the courtyard view versus the partial view. And it's funny, Shannon, because again, coming from Disney World, we have, like, so much information, and I'm used to going on touring plans and seeing, like, the view from every room in whatever hotel I'm thinking of, and there's nothing like that for Disneyland. I mean, it is really a locals park. So, I don't know. I went with the partial view. We're gonna see how it goes. But, yeah, so just drop our bags, and then we're gonna head to Rope Drop Disneyland Park.
I echo you on the Disney World information not being available for all destinations. Like, it used to be my dream was to do a prep school for everything, like the Grand Canyon prep school, the whatever, because every time I would plan a trip, I'm like, why is the same information? I want touring plans. I want a crowd calendar. I want all
Yes,
the same
yes.
things. But it turns out there just isn't an audience for it because most people aren't searching for it. So it's hard
Yep,
to justify the content. And that's
exactly.
true even for Disneyland. It just, people are not looking for it as much. So it's hard
Right.
to have a business case for even creating it, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. So, what's
Oh,
your
yeah,
plan
yeah.
at Disneyland?
So it's funny. We are big rope droppers in Disney World. And I think it'll be interesting to see some of the differences with rope dropping Disneyland. I know security is different. Like they want to look through every bag versus going through the scanners. We're using our phones for tickets and lightning lanes. And that's a little bit different for us because we're usually Magic Band people. Disneyland only works with Magic Band Plus, and I am like holding tight to my old school Magic Band. I am not going to get that Plus until I absolutely have to. So I've got my, ride or die silver sparkly Magic Band that I'm holding on to. So yeah, we're gonna use that, which is a little bit different. So just trying to figure out kind of some of those things about rope drop, get the lay of the land with
Did you
with how that's going to work.
did you pre-purchase lightning lanes?
We did, which is great. I wish Disney World would do that. Yes, we did pre-purchase. I love having that expense out of the way before you get there. So yes, that was part of our tickets. We have 4-day park hopper with Lightning Lane. That's our
Okay.
ticket. Yep.
I mean, Disney World does allow you to do it. You just have to pay every single day for.
Well, sure. Yes. Yeah. But it's I guess when you buy your tickets, it's nice
Uh-huh.
to be able to just do it then and not
As
have that huge expense 7 days before you go.
it's a separate thing. I think it might be
Yep.
sticker shock if people had to, because tickets aren't cheap, lightning lanes aren't cheap. So they're like, let's split these up. But at
Right.
Disneyland,
That's true.
it can be altogether at Disneyland. So you are familiar with the old Genie Plus system at Disney World.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
So it will feel
Yeah, it
very
feels very
familiar.
similar. Yep.
Yes.
So you book a lightning lane, you either use it or wait 2 hours.
Hmm.
I know that I should not ever cancel. I should only modify because of that 2-hour window. So yes, trying to figure out all of these kind of different but similar types of things.
Hmm.
My guess is we'll probably rope drop Space Mountain and Matterhorn that first day. I always rope drop Space Mountain at Disney World, so I figure we'll just keep that up at Disneyland. And my dad, of course, really, really wants to do the
Hmm.
Matterhorn bobsleds. Hopefully, like our old backs will will survive. I know
Oh,
that it's
it's
a
it
lot.
it is a rough, but every time I warn anybody, like when I go on it with them, they always come up thinking, "Oh, that wasn't so bad." So I think if you know that you need to kind of make your, body stiff somehow so that you don't
Sure.
jostle around. It's better.
Yes. We'll brace ourselves when we go on
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll start booking some lightning lanes. I know Indiana Jones is one that kind of,
Mhm.
I think you really want a lightning lane for. Big Thunder Mountain, Tiana's. I'm trying to think of some of the others that we'll go for. But the idea would probably be to stack this day, have an early lunch, ride a couple rides early afternoon, and then go back to Grand California. And hopefully our room would be ready or close to ready, unpack, have a little downtime, but not too much because we might fall asleep. So just a little downtime. And then probably head back into California Adventure, Disney California Adventure that evening. Again, just to get kind of a lay of the land of the park. That way we can see both parks that first day and kind of get a sense of what they're like.
Mhm. And
Yes.
do you have dining plans on this day?
So we're not big table service people, even at Disney World.
Mhm.
We like to snack, we like to share things. I do, though, have a reservation at Lamplighter Lounge for that evening at 5:30. And I love a good lounge. I love a lounge. Nomad Lounge is like my favorite place in all of Disney World. So I'm hoping like maybe some similar vibes with Lamplighter. It's right there by the big Ferris wheel that you see as kind of the symbol of DCA. So I'm hoping that will be a fun place. Maybe get like a little dessert for a birthday dessert, have a beer, eat some food, and then I might love to do a single pass lightning lane for Radiator Springs Racers. I mean, people love that ride.
Mm.
Like I want to see if the hype is real. I mean, I know it's very similar to Test Track. I like Test Track, but yeah, people really, really enjoy it. So we may have to do a single pass that
Yeah.
night in addition to the Lamplighter Lounge. And who knows, maybe some other lightning lanes. We'll see how we feel.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and driving from Mexico to Portland in our move, we went through a part of Arizona and we were like, we feel like we're on Radiator Springs Races right now. 'Cause it looks so much like it, but it's a great ride.
That's cute. So it,
Yeah.
it is kind of real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's very well done. Okay. And then any plans on like World of Color or fireworks?
Not that night.
Okay.
Stay
Not
tuned.
that. All right. Let's talk about the next day then, Sunday, August 2nd.
Yes. So this day is one thing to mention about this day. So it is the Chalk Walk, which I had never heard of, but I've since found out about Children's Hospital of California does a walk at Disney. And I think it's only in DCA, but it goes from 5:30 to 9. I'm not really sure how this is going to affect the crowds that day because I know it's a very cool idea. If you raise enough money, you get a ticket to the park. I don't know if people will stay away because of the chalk walk or a lot of people will be there, but that could maybe affect that day and how the crowds look. So that's just something to think about.
Okay. So it's not something you're participating in, but it's something that could affect your time.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. And so DCA opens later that day, but Disneyland still opens, I think, at 8. So we will be rope dropping Disneyland again. And I think we'll try to do Fantasyland. And it's funny because, again, same but different. There are so many rides that don't have lightning lanes. And all
Mm.
of Fantasyland, I know Pirates doesn't, like, there's a good amount that don't have the lightning lanes. So it changes how you think about your rope dropping strategy. So this day we might, if we're far enough up, which I think we will be, probably hit the Fantasyland rides early. We don't have a ton of time because we do have a 70th anniversary tour booked for that morning at 9:45. So I love a good tour. We've done Keys to the Kingdom at Magic Kingdom, which I really enjoyed. It's very cool to see the utilidors. There's a lot of backstage stuff, but it's really long. It was like 5 hours. So that's such a big part of your day. This tour is 2 hours, which
Mhm.
is definitely more like what I'm looking for. I think we're just looking for some history, some cool facts. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
seen Disneyland Handcrafted on Disney Plus.
Uh huh.
Oh my gosh. I would highly, highly recommend that to anybody that even likes Disney, even if you're not into Disneyland. I mean, it's a great program. You get to hear some of the original people that Walt worked with.
Mhm.
No workplace safety standards. I mean,
Mhm.
it's very funny.
Those were the
You know
times.
Yes. I mean, it went from, like, dirt to a park in a year, which is that would never happen. So, yeah, definitely, I'm hoping for that kind of vibe from this tour,
Yeah, and
so we'll see.
I'm not familiar with this one, so I looked it up, and it includes quite a bit because as you said, it's a 2-hour tour that'll include some
Mhm.
history and stuff, but also you get to go on some attractions. They give you a lightning lane for something, and you get reserved viewing for a nighttime show. They give you
Mhm.
popcorn and the special keepsake for the tour. Like, that's great.
Yes, it is, and it's funny because, again, like, kind of lack of information, I was wondering, "Okay, well, which nighttime show is it?" Because we wanna be able to see a couple. And from what I can tell, it's the Paint the Night parade, almost always, so I'm banking on that, and then I think the Lightning Lane is typically Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, so we'll see if that's correct.
Listen, not
Um,
bad.
yeah, no, it's great, so you get a good tour and a few little extra perks as well.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. All right, so that
Yep.
takes you through, like, lunchtime, basically.
Lunchtime, yep, so and I think I'd really love to spend some time at the Grand Californian today and sit by the pool. I think they have a really nice looking pool bar, be able to enjoy that, have some lunch there. Honestly, Shannon, it would be awesome if we could fall asleep for a little bit because I do, again, want to stay up for the Paint the Night parade and not be exhausted. So it'd be great if we maybe sit by the pool and fall asleep in a lounger for a little bit. I think that sounds like a very, very nice afternoon, but not rushing back into the park, maybe stacking a few lightning lanes for that evening.
I think with 4 days, 4-day park hoppers, it really gives you lots of time.
Yes.
So, there is time for an afternoon at the resort without feeling like you're missing anything.
Right. I
Okay,
hope so.
so after your break, then you're heading back to
Yes.
Disneyland.
We'll head back to Disneyland. I think the Paint the Night parade is 8:45 is the first parade. So we'll probably do that one with the reserved seating, hopefully. We'll see if
Mhm.
that is the case or not. And then hopefully ride a couple rides. I love the look of Disneyland at night. And I really wanna make sure that I can stay awake to see it. I look at, like, the teacups with, like, all the little twinkle lights above it. I mean, it's just so beautiful, and so much more is outdoors. There's so much more interconnection of the rides where you're on one ride and you can see another ride. Like, I love all of that, and I wanna make sure that I get to see that at night. So, let's hope for maybe a little nap and we can actually stay up to see some of this. The fireworks happen after Paint the Night, and then you've got is it Tapestry of Color? Tapestry is that right? On
I
Small
think so.
World?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So the projections on Small World, so there's so much that's happening at night,
Mhm.
like, really hoping that we can make it and see all of this very fun stuff. Because I feel like Disney World, I mean, now we have Starlight, which is great, and I do like that one, but not
Is it
quite as much in the evening.
Tapestry of Happiness?
Tapestry of Happiness. Thank you,
Oh,
Shannon.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm not as well versed in Disneyland, so I had to look it up.
Yeah, no, obviously I'm not either. So yeah, I think that's the projections on Small World. So yeah, hopefully we can catch at least one or two of those, maybe all of them. We'll see.
Isn't just the concept of projections on It's a Small World very funny as a Disney World person?
Yes, yes, it's so cute. And I love too, like, part of Small World is outdoors. Like, I think
Mhm,
that's so fun. Like, I don't love Small World at Disney World, but I'm
mhm.
hoping that I will really love it at Disneyland. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, that is gonna be one of my things to ask you in the post trip is the comparisons between Disney World and Disneyland because
Oh,
it's
yes.
hard not to compare. Okay,
I know, and part of me, Shannon, is, like, hoping I don't love it too much because it's so much more of a commitment to get to the West Coast, so I'm worried if I like it too much, I might wanna go back frequently, so I have to like it, but not overly like it.
yeah, it's a commitment because you have to fly across the country, but I find it much more affordable than Disney World. because you
That's
could
very
stay off
true.
site. I usually
Yes.
spend just $200 a night or something on a hotel, only go for a couple days. So overall, I feel like it's a cheaper Disney trip, but
Yes. Very
there's
true.
there's things to like about both. Are you ready to talk
Yes.
about Monday, August 3rd?
I am. Yes. So this day is our only day that we are rope dropping DCA. And so it's interesting to me actually that you still have to make park reservations,
Uh-huh.
which I don't understand because for date-based tickets, there's no park hopping limits, but whatever, I'll go ahead and do it. So we did. This was our only day for picking DCA as our park. So I think we'll try to rope drop Soarin'. We're coming in from Grand Californian entrance. I've heard that Soarin' opens before other rides sometimes. So, it's like a rope dropper. I'm like all about that. How can I get a leg up on somebody? So we'll probably go to Soarin' and then stack some lightning lanes. I'm really excited about Mission Breakout. I'm a huge Tower of Terror person, so can't wait to try that one. Incredicoaster, I love things like that. My dad will probably do that once and that will be it. He's a good
Mhm.
sport, but usually he's kind of a one and done with the roller coasters and
I
probably
think that
Mission
one's a
Breakout as well.
that one for a lot of people is a one-time thing because it's such a long coaster and it does everything.
Yeah.
It goes
Yeah.
upside down, up and down, it does everything. So that's a
Yes.
fun
So
one.
so that will be our plan for most of the day there. I feel to me it seems like DCA is like the Epcot of Disneyland. Like it's got the good food and drink. And that's so much a part of how we like to travel is to sit, get a beer and like people watch and just enjoy the vibes. And I'm hoping that we'll get more of that at DCA than we have at Disneyland. I don't know. Is that what you
Yeah.
found?
Yeah, for sure. But I think visually, you will find it reminding you of Hollywood studios a lot. But I do think
Mhm.
vibe-wise, you're right, that it is that kind of linger, have food and drinks that you get at Epcot. So, yeah, it's
Okay.
kind of a mix.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. I want to do San Francisco. That looks like it
Mhm.
has some fun food. The little cozy cones
Mhm.
with the different options there. That looks so fun. So yeah, I think there's quite a few things there we'd like to eat and drink in addition to the rides. I'm sure we'll do a midday break. We always do a midday break.
And you'll
And
be
then
so close.
exactly. Exactly. And so we'll come back that night for a oh gosh, not paint the night, World of Color.
Mhm.
Got it. World of Color dessert party.
Mhm.
So we decided to do that. I don't think you have to do that by any means. It seems like there's a ton of places to watch. I figured by the third day, we'd probably really enjoy a seat. So we're going to go ahead and do that and see how we enjoy that. It's funny. I'm trying to not, I want to be surprised a little bit on this trip. There's so few surprises in life now. Like, I want to experience some surprises. And so, like, Paint the Night, World of Color, I don't want to know what they're all about. But in my mind, World of Color is like the old Rivers of Light. Like, that's what I'm picturing. It's like water and projections. And I don't know if that's true or not. So we'll see how if I'm right or not. But I kind of picture it in that way a little bit. But the nice thing is when that's over, we can just walk back. And I
Mhm.
feel like I'm gonna be so spoiled after this trip.
Mhm.
I will never wanna wait in another long bus line or Skyliner line after
Oh,
a nighttime show
yeah.
because, I mean, what an amazing benefit to not have to deal with that. You see the show, you go back and go to bed. That
Have you ever stayed in an Epcot area resort?
so, no, not as far as Boardwalk or Yacht Club or
Mhm.
any of those. I mean, we're Riviera is probably our go-to, but
Mhm.
again, you still have the
You still have the
Skyliner.
Skyliner, yeah. I was gonna
Yeah.
say the closest it feels like Epcot walking out and going to the beach club or, boardwalk or something.
Yes.
That's pretty
Yeah.
it's kinda similar, but yeah, it is very convenient at the Grand Californian.
I cannot wait for that. I'm really, really excited.
Okay. Are you ready to talk about Tuesday, August 4th?
I am. Yeah. So this will be our last full park day. And honestly, Shannon, this is a catch-all. Like
Okay.
what have we not done that we still have to do? What have we done that we absolutely have to do again? I want to make sure we've done the original rides to the park. The riverboat is big. I wanna make sure we ride the train. I have heard that if you catch, like, the right person at the right time, you can actually ride in the front of the monorail, but
Mhm.
maybe. So, maybe we'll see if we can, like, get some birthday love. My dad's birthday is the 5th, so we're kinda gonna celebrate this day, the 4th, because we're traveling on the 5th, so maybe someone will give us a little birthday gift and let us ride up front, but kind of all of those things just to make sure that we've done what we wanna do. And I love, to your point earlier, having this kind of extra day, I feel like, just to say, "What do we still need to do? What have we not done? What was the most amazing thing that we have to do again?" I'm sure I wanna ride Pirates like 1,000 times.
Mhm.
So, all of those things, I just can't wait, and I love that this gives us the freedom just to be, I don't know, be less rushed. I always say, like, a Disney World trip, I need 3 full days. Like, that's what I need for a Disney World trip, and I feel probably like it's similar with Disneyland, but I'm giving myself, like, something a little bit extra here. So, yeah, that this day has really no plans at all. We will see what we've loved and what we need to do again.
Do you plan on spending time in downtown Disney?
Not so much. I have a feeling that we may stop through there to get some food maybe on the way
Mhm.
home. We don't really do Disney Springs when we're at Disney World. I mean, I do want to shop for merch, don't get me wrong. That is a big part of this trip. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see us spending time more than just grabbing food.
You will walk through it just getting to and from Disneyland,
Right.
at least part of it, but I didn't know if you had time that you wanted to, like, shop and, go through all the stores and restaurants and stuff too.
Well, and maybe we will. I mean, like I said, I really do wanna pick up some good merch. I'm gonna try to leave some of my suitcase free because I know I'm gonna wanna bring back some stuff. But yeah, so I think we'll see where this day takes us. This will be a mystery.
Okay. Great. And that's a catch-all, so we'll see what ends up being priority that day, and then August 5th, Wednesday is your departure.
It is departure and it's early. We leave at 7:15. So we're gonna have to make sure the night before that we're back, packed, ready to go nice and early in the morning, and we are back in Virginia at 6:45, something like that. So fairly early to get back to the grind and work and kids going back to school and all of that. So I feel like this is such a nice way to end the summer with this really, really fabulous trip.
It is. I am excited for you. I'm really always excited to hear what Disney World people think of Disneyland for the first time.
I
Always,
know.
always, always. That's why I'm always encouraging people to go. Is there anything about your trip we didn't get a chance to talk about?
No, I don't well, one thing is the crowds. So that's been something interesting this year. It seems like the crowds at Disneyland have been very low, and I think
Hmm.
people are saying, was it the World Cup that was keeping people away? What is it that is causing these low wait times? I think that's changing a little bit. Disney is finding ways to draw people in. They've got a $59 evening ticket where you can get into DCA at 5 and Disneyland at 7. So I'm guessing the evenings might be a little bit busier because that ends August 5th.
Okay.
So
Which your trip does too. Okay.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking that we're gonna be dealing with some of that while we're there. So, the crowds that's such a big part of how much or how little you can get done.
Hmm.
So I think that'll be a big part of this trip and what we're able to do is what the crowds look like. I'm hoping maybe we'll still hit some of those low crowds, but we'll see.
Yeah. You'll have to let us know how it feels to you.
I
So,
absolutely
anyway,
will.
well, I hope you and your dad have a good trip and happy birthday to both of you.
Thank you, Shannon. I appreciate it. Look forward to talking to you.
Welcome back from your trip, Sarah.
Thank you very much, Shannon.
We are talking on Thursday, August 6th. So you just got back yesterday.
We just got back, so it's all very fresh.
How was your trip?
Amazing, of course, as
Well,
always, as every Disney trip is, but different in good ways.
you said, of course, but it was your first time. So I wasn't sure, how you would feel overall, but I am excited to hear about it. So let's start on Friday, July 31st, a whole week ago. You were flying from Virginia and ending up in California that evening.
Yes. So thankfully, everything went well this day. I think I'd mentioned I had a work commitment, so we couldn't leave until later, which makes me nervous with storms, but the weather did cooperate. So we flew through Charlotte. The only kind of unusual snafu was when we got on the plane in Charlotte, I had an email that the SpringHill Suites main gate could no longer accommodate us. So they actually had switched us to the SpringHill Suites Anaheim Convention Center.
Mm.
So it was kind of late notice for this, but nothing we could do about it at that point. So flight was great. We got into John Wayne, which highly recommend. That was so easy. Grabbed an Uber. I think it was $48 for an XL from John Wayne to the convention center, Spring Hill Suites. The funny thing was they only had a room with a king and two bunk beds, which would be awesome for a family. I mean,
Mhm.
it would be a great hotel for a family, but obviously for a father and daughter, it was interesting. So my dad he said that the bunk beds was a firmer mattress, so he was all about that. So he ended up on the bunk beds. I was in the king. But again, if you have a family, this would be a great spot because they do have two TVs. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that. It wasn't perfect for us, but it was fun. It was perfectly fine. So
Okay.
yeah, we were exhausted. Anyway, it didn't really matter. We were tired and we were in bed that night by 10 o'clock. So thankfully everything went smoothly.
10 o'clock California time, but 1 p.m. Or 1
Yeah.
a.m. to your bodies.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's really late for us. We're both early to bed people. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
we did
Okay,
it.
good. Okay, so then Saturday, August 1st was your actual birthday, and you were switching to the Grand Californian. How did this day go?
This day was busy. It was very fun, but very busy. So yeah, we were up probably about 4 a.m. just on our own. We just couldn't sleep in. I think my dad was up even earlier than that. And just packed up whatever we had taken out and we decided to actually walk to the Grand Californian. It was point 0.5 miles. It was a great walk. They've got twinkle lights up on all the trees. Like it's a beautiful place to walk through. The sun was just coming up. So we actually really enjoyed that little walk in the morning and we had plenty of time. So yeah, we checked in at the desk, dropped our bags at Bell Services. I did ask the lady at checkout if we could maybe be kind of close to the lobby or as close possibly as we could. She said our room had been assigned, but that it was fairly close and more to come on that later. Spoiler alert, it was not fairly close. But yeah, that I guess with the partial view room that we had, a lot of those are a little bit farther away. So I think we would have been closer if we had done the woodland view, but I still wouldn't have switched it. We ended up really liking the partial view. But yeah, just made that request and got my birthday button for that
Mhm.
day. Got my dad one, although he did not wear his. But yeah, did wear mine proudly. Security opens to the downtown Disney area at 6:45. And that line builds really fast. So we were there, I mean, obviously we were there super early. I bet we got in line at maybe 6 or a few minutes after. And man, it got really long very, very quickly. But we were probably only about 10 people back. And I would definitely recommend trying to be towards the front because security is very, very slow. They look through every
Mhm.
little bag that you have, every pocket. So it is not a quick process. So yeah, but the walk itself from the Grand Californian to through downtown Disney to Disneyland is so nice. It's very pleasant. I think they must let those folks in earlier than the main entrances because no one was running. We were just leisurely strolling. There was no one else around. Just, I mean, it was a great walk, short walk to the gates. We were like right in the front, which was fun. Took a few pictures, talked to some folks in line. They gave us a tip that the Craftsman Grill at the Grand Californian opens at 6:30 because they had a really good looking breakfast burrito. So we took that little pro tip for later. If you want to get something and eat it in line, that's a great place to go. But yeah, we scanned in at 7:30, decided to rope drop Space Mountain this day. I always do that at World, so it kind of made sense to do it at Land too. We waited right there at the rope, same kind of process as Disney World. They came out and said, though, that Space Mountain was not opening on time. Okay, so we're pivoting. Well, let's go to the Matterhorn because I think I mentioned that was my dad's kind of
Mhm.
core memory ride from his trip when he was 10. So we wait, they drop the rope, go to the Matterhorn. It's closed also. And also Indiana Jones was closed this morning. So
What?
I feel like the park was
That's gonna mess up everything.
I think the park was just in total chaos this morning. We weren't quite sure what to do. We were kind of wondering if this was normal. We turned around, there was Alice in Wonderland. Fine. It's open, let's go. That was really cute. We got in our little caterpillar and went all around. It was a I guess a cuter ride than I thought it was gonna be. I enjoyed it more than I thought. So at this point, we again just weren't quite sure what to do. A lot of things were down. Lines were building pretty quickly for things that were open. So we decided to go over to Pirates. That was one that I knew. I love that ride at World. It's like, okay, we'll ride that one next. So make our way over there, go through Adventureland, and I saw the Jungle Cruise boats running. I said, "Oh, let's hop on here. We're going by it. Let's just jump on. It's open too." Well, I ended up that was the line for Indiana Jones. They're right next to each other. I don't know how I did that, but we ended up in the line for Indiana Jones, and I think we had just caught it when it opened because it was like a 10-minute wait, and we were through the queue. The queue is amazing, by the way. I love that queue. That is so fun. So we get on Indiana Jones. Love this ride. I loved it, and I didn't love Dinosaur. I know how you feel about Dinosaur, or
Mhm.
felt about Dinosaur, but yeah, I thought this was a great ride. And do we know, Shannon, if it's gonna be the same as
It's not. It's not the
okay.
same, but it'll still be better than Dinosaur in my opinion. It has to
Mm,
be.
no doubt. No
But yeah,
doubt.
it's not a
Okay.
copy paste though.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. I'm sure it'll be great, but we both really enjoyed this ride,
Mhm.
despite the fact that we thought it was Jungle Cruise. I was glad I made that weird little detour. So yeah, let's see, we headed to Pirates finally. This was just a walk on, so much better than World. I'm
Mhm.
spoiled. I mean, it was longer, it had more elements. I love the end where you're going through like the burning ship. Like it was really, really cute. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen when I go back to World next time and ride it, but
I know. I know. Spoiled's the right word.
yes, yeah. So then we went and rode Big Thunder Standby. That was 20 minutes at this point, which wasn't bad. That's really similar again to what we've got at World now that they've done the update. So that's always a fun one. At this point, we were getting hungry. We've been up since 4, already walked quite a bit. I always find in the theme parks, it's so hard to get breakfast things, I feel like, that aren't like sweet pastries. And I don't know, I don't always want like a big breakfast. So I was happy to know that Bingle Barbecue opens kind of early. They opened at 9:30. So we were eating chicken skewers and rice and slaw at 9:30 in the morning across some Jungle Cruise. We loved it. It was really good. But I appreciated that they had something that opened a little earlier, maybe for those of us that were on East Coast time.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that was great. And then we did finally go on Jungle Cruise. I got the right queue this time. So yeah, that was a 10-minute wait. This is one that I actually think I like better at Disney World.
Mhm. I
I
can
don't
see
know.
that.
I think I love the tunnel at Disney World where they put the spotlight out. That's so cute. And they don't have that at Disneyland. So yeah, I think that might be one of the few that's better at Disney World.
Can I ask you about lighting lanes? Because I know,
Yeah, of
like,
course.
as soon as you go in, then you could start booking those. So, did you book those after you entered?
I did. I forgot at first.
Mhm.
We were looking at everything and we were actually standing at the rope. And I said, "Oh my gosh, I haven't booked my lightning lane." So we had booked initially for Indiana Jones, but then when we ended up in that queue, we modified it to Space Mountain. I really did a mixture this trip, I feel like, of churning and stacking. It's kind of like once I got to that 2-hour mark and could get another one, I would start churning or I would start stacking, but then churning that first lightning lane a little bit. So I don't know, it really was a mix, but I'll tell you, I really am not sure that you need lightning lanes at Disneyland, and I can't believe I'm saying that, but I don't think we used a single lightning lane our last day, and I really feel like if you're willing to get there early and ride some of the bigger rides early. I don't know, I'm not sure you need it. Or maybe what I would do, Shannon, is buy it day to day. So maybe buy it the first 2 days and then not the second 2 once I've done
Mhm,
a lot of the big rides.
mhm.
But I think that's something to think about because you can buy it with your ticket, with your package at Disneyland, unlike Disney World. So, yeah, I think I might wait till day of and make that decision. It's helpful and there's a lot of benefit to it, but I just don't think it's a must-have.
I feel like there's also fewer options, so that can make it
Mm.
harder to justify. Were you using single rider lines?
I do later, yes. For
Okay,
some of the rides that my dad did not wanna ride, there were a few that I ended up doing single rider, but I don't think we did that at all this first day.
okay, because they have more of those at Disneyland than they do at Disney World, and so if you don't have lightning lanes, sometimes that's just a nice option,
Yeah.
to avoid the longest waits. Okay, so let's go back to Disneyland where you just done Jungle Cruise.
We did. So, after Jungle Cruise, we went and used our Space Mountain Lightning Lane. I don't think I liked this one as much as Disney World either. And actually, it kinda made my dad feel a little bit queasy, which was unusual because he's
Space
not
Mountain?
usually like that. Yes, Space Mountain.
Hmm,
And I love it at Disney World. And this one, I mean, it was good, it's fine. It was very similar in many ways, but I don't know, there's something about the one at Disney World I think I like a little bit better. But yeah, we had a little sit down after that, had a Diet Coke, took a break, did a lightning lane for Haunted Mansion. That was great, very similar. The stretching room is much better. I love that it kinda goes both ways, and yeah, that was really fun. Let's see, Buzz Lightyear, Lightning Lane, and then we finally made it to the Matterhorn.
and
So for my
finally.
dad, finally.
Mm, mhm.
So this ride is really jerky, very jerky, and the cars are so low. I mean, so Space Mountain at Disney World is, I think, I mean, not hard, but it's harder to get in and out of, right? You're sitting so low. This is even worse than that, I feel like. It was very, very low. I think if you had any sort of mobility issues, it would be really hard to get in and out of. I mean, my dad, turned 71 on this trip. He's a really active guy. He did fine, but man, I can see people like really needing a hand up out of that thing because it was super low. So yeah, I think it was nice to ride it for nostalgia's sake, but I'm not sure it was our favorite.
Yeah, it hits different when you're older.
It does, yeah. So, yeah, I was starting to book some for DCA at this point, starting to stack a few for the evening. I had a Guardians Lightning Lane at this point, and then we went and rode Small World Standby. That was, I think, a 10-minute wait. It moved quickly. I thought it was better than Disney World. I love how they've incorporated some of the characters into the different countries. It still got annoying by the end. The song, still kind of wanting it to end, but
Mhm.
it was, I would say, better than the Disney World in that way. So, yes, that was fun. At this point, we went, let's see. Oh, we had fried chicken at the Plaza Inn. I don't know why. I'd heard like many people talk about this fried chicken. And, we're from Virginia, like, we like fried chicken, so we decided to go try that. It was good. I mean, for a theme park fried chicken, I thought it was pretty good. We had some mashed potatoes and gravy, which is not something that I normally eat a lot of, but it was very good, and they have lots of good shaded tables. So, yeah, we enjoyed that. At this point, we had gotten a text that the room was ready, so I think that text came about 12:30, which surprised me. I was pleasantly surprised with that. We decided to go back and take a break at this point. Again, so convenient to get back to here in California. And I absolutely loved that hotel. It was beautiful. I mean, the convenience to get into downtown Disney and DCA, you cannot beat. We definitely took advantage of that every single day. Our room was way far away from the lobby. I mean, it was a hike. I think we determined it took us like 6 or 7 minutes just to even get to, like, the main part of the hotel from our room. We just went
Mhm.
on and on and on. So that was a negative, but we loved our partial view. I mean, I really think it was like a full view. We looked right down over downtown Disney. It was great people watching, right where people get on and off the parking tram. We had a great view of the fireworks at night. So I thought it was a great room. It's plenty big. I was pleased with the size. The only thing I thought was a little unusual with the bathroom, you've got kind of a big-ish room with the 2 sinks, and then you've got that little room off to the side with your shower and your toilet. There's no door on the sink area. So, I was with my dad or if I was traveling with my teenage sons, like, you have to go in that, like, little room to change. I kinda wanted them to put, like, a little sliding door over that sink area, but I'm just being picky at this point because it really is a great hotel and a great place to stay. Would highly recommend.
But I do think there is this trend with hotels of not having the bathroom be private enough. Like, not all of us are traveling with our partner. Sometimes it's like you
Right.
said, it could be a friend, it could be a coworker, it could be, your dad, and you just need more privacy. So I just feel like hotels need to be thinking more about that.
Yeah.
Disney and
Yeah.
non-Disney ones.
Mhm. I totally agree. Yeah, because I was really wishing for that throughout the week. But again, I'm just being picky 'cause
Mhm.
I know in the pre-trip, I think I mentioned, like, I'm not sure given the lack of benefit for staying on site that I would always do it. I would always do it. I've decided. It was just great being there. It was wonderful. It was so convenient. I don't think if I go back to Disneyland, I will definitely be staying at the Grand Californian again. I can't say enough good things.
Good, good.
So, yes. All right, so grabbed an Instacart order that we had done. We were back in DCA by, let's see, 4:10. So we went to Mission Breakout first. This was my favorite. I
Okay.
love this ride, Shannon. It was so good.
Were you
And I know
surprised
people
that you loved
love
it?
I like Tower of Terror. I mean, I've always liked that, but this one was just so much better. It, like, gets you right to the fun part. You go right to the good bits. It's longer, like, more up and down. The music is great. Like,
Mhm.
I know people love Tower of Terror, but I wish Disney World would switch to this. I don't feel like I'm ever gonna wanna go on Tower of Terror again after
Yeah.
riding Mission Breakout. That is a great, great ride.
The reason I asked if you were surprised is because a lot of Tower of Terror, enthusiasts are like they go in thinking, "I'm not gonna like this," but it's like, well, it's really fun too.
Oh, it was so much fun, and, I went back to that one several times. My
Mhm,
dad rode with me this first time, but that was a one and done for him.
mhm,
He liked it, but I think that was just once was good.
mhm.
So, yeah, then we went over to Lamplighter Lounge. We had a reservation there for that evening. That was really cute. I like the location right there on that little Pixar Pier boardwalk area. You're looking out over Incredicoaster and the Ferris wheel. They didn't have any draft beers, which was unusual. I think that's kind of a big thing for them. Something was wrong with the taps. But we found a good pineapple cider that we liked. We had some of the kimchi Korean wings, which were really good as well. But the best part of this whole experience was we got to watch people being evacuated off Incredicoaster,
Mm,
which was wild. We had the best
mhm,
time. I mean, I felt terrible for them, but we were loving watching it. So there was one car that was out kind of in that long stretch of track right near the Ferris wheel. I mean, they were out in the dead hot sun and it was hot. And then there was another car stuck up in the highest tunnel. So it was fun watching the cast members get out there and those folks that were out in the sunny part, they took them off 2 at a time, and then each group would walk with the cast member off. The ones at the very top, they actually had them come down all in a line with cast members on each side. I mean, they were really high up. I'm sure that could be scary
mhm.
walking down those steps. But yeah, that was so entertaining to watch that during our dinner. So yeah, we both loved that best of all, I think.
Yeah, never I always think being evacuated is a little bit fun to some of us who have done the parks a lot, but that particular situation sounds very scary.
I know. Well, and especially because later I went on Incredicoaster, and as I got up there, I thought, "Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
I I would be, I think, petrified to walk down." But yeah, so we enjoyed that part of it. Let's see, we went and rode Little Mermaid, got just an immediate lightning lane for that. Same ride,
I was gonna say, that one should
the
look familiar to you.
yes, it looks really familiar, but being a 40-ish woman, like Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, those are my jam. Like that is what I grew up with. So I always enjoy that ride.
Mhm.
Let's oh, next we went and did the single I mean, not single, the single pass for Radiator Springs Racers. So what was interesting is this I was kind of expecting to have to really watch the times on this to get the time I wanted. Basically, all day it was an immediate return, which surprised me. I don't know if it's normally like that, but I just booked it right before we went on it. It was $23 a person. Ugh,
Yeah.
did not love that. But, I wasn't let's see, the standby was 65, so we weren't gonna do that. But this was a good ride. I thought it was nice. Do we know if this one is gonna be the same at
No,
World?
it's not.
Okay, not that one either. Okay. But yeah, the only problem was we didn't get to race anybody. We got up to where you, I guess, meet up with the other car.
Mhm.
And we stopped a beat. I guess they were waiting for someone else to come. No one ever did. So we just took off. I think it might have been more fun if we'd had someone there next to us to kind of race, but it was still a good ride. It's really I would definitely recommend doing it once. We didn't end up needing to do it again, especially not for 20 some dollars a person, but
Mhm.
would definitely make sure you do it while you're there.
Mhm.
So then we had a beer at Pim's Test Kitchen while we were waiting for our Web Slingers Lightning Lane, just a little sit down. We enjoyed web slingers. That was fun. I was very tired afterwards, though.
Yeah. Mhm.
Kind of wore me out, but yeah, I did. I enjoyed that one. I'd love to know more about how that ride works. The technology behind that. That's got to be crazy. So yeah, love that. We went to go use a lightning lane for Soren, but it broke down right as we got to kind of the front of the line. So we decided, you know what, that's our sign. It's time to go back. This was about 8, I think maybe a little after 8. So we were tired. We
And
had
you
over
were and you were right
22,000.
there by your hotel.
And we were right there. Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, we had over 22,000 steps that day. Which surprised me. You're still walking like Disney World steps at Disneyland. And I guess
Mhm.
it's because you're not hopping on a bus, you're not hopping on a Skyliner, you
Mhm.
really are walking back and forth to your hotel. But yeah, that was a very full, but really, really a good day. Great birthday. Definitely love to spend birthdays in a Disney park.
Okay, good. The next day was Sunday, August 2nd. You had told us the chalk walk was happening at DC at 5:30. You weren't participating, but let's see how it if it affects your day at all. But you were starting at Disneyland again?
We were starting at Disneyland. The plan was to rope drop Fantasyland this day. And it was funny because, of course, we were up fairly early again, just couldn't sleep in. And I went to open our window just to look outside and see, I don't know what was happening. And there were tons of people. Oh my gosh, this thing is huge. I could not believe the amount of people that this brought in, which is great if it's a fundraiser. I love that people are supporting that. But wow, we were a little nervous at this point about what the day
And
was gonna be like
and you
with
you
everything.
had said you had a view of downtown Disney. So all the people that you saw, they were just coming in downtown Disney?
I think they were coming in to start the walk.
Mhm.
That's how I think we worked it out because we saw them later on the walk, kind of on the other side of the big plaza. That
Mhm.
was actually part of the course, but I think downtown Disney right there was just where they were coming in to start,
Mhm.
I think. But yeah, so it was fun watching all that. People had matching T-shirts and posters, balloons. We enjoyed the vibe of that quite a bit. But yeah, so we didn't it didn't affect really our morning at all. We went straight to rope drop, same thing as before. We were going to do Fantasyland this morning. They give you really cute stickers at rope drop, Shannon. I loved them. They said I made it to rope drop at Disneyland. Oh my gosh. I love that. I thought that was so cute. But yeah, so went straight to Peter Pan. This is bedlam trying to rope drop Fantasyland. The day before was nothing like this. I mean, it was full sprint, strollers, scooters, I mean, I was scared for my life. It was crazy trying to get to Peter Pan. I think Disney World does a better job probably of making sure people don't run. They walk you back to rides. It was crazy, but it was fine. We made it to Peter Pan in one piece. We got on that probably, I don't know, 7-minute wait probably for that. It was fairly quick. That's a really cute ride, and I loved that this was, like, the original one that Walt put together. Then we did Mr. Toad, Pinocchio, and Snow White
All
all
in a
together
row.
there,
Mhm.
and they're basically the same ride.
Mm.
I don't know why I didn't realize this. I guess this was cutting edge technology in 1955, but They all are just you're in a car, you're making these turns, you're going through doors. Mr. Toad's is like a fever dream. I mean, that thing is wild. I'm not sure about that ride, but I think of all those, probably Snow White was my favorite. But yeah, I mean, they're cute. I think you need to ride them for nostalgia's sake. But yeah, they're all the same basically. But yeah, that was our morning. We did all of that before 8:45. So you can really roll through a bunch of those very quickly in the morning. We went back to Pirates again, still 10 out of 10, absolutely loved it. Let's see, oh, we got a cheesy garlic pretzel bread from Maurice's Treats, which was great. We loved that. Oh my gosh, I wanted to come back later and get the one that had the bratwurst in it, but we never made it back for that, but that was really, really good. A good little, like, breakfasty type item, I guess? I don't know. But it got us through because we had our tour this morning, the 70th anniversary tour that started at 9:45. So you check in right at the front of the park. There's a little booth there. They gave us, the earpieces, the lanyards, and we started that, I mean, right on time, 9:45. Katie was our tour guide. She was great. She did a great job. This was $120 per person. So, but you get a few extra things with it beyond just the tour. It's a 2-hour tour, and then you get some other things that I think make it probably more worth it. But yes, part of that is you ride the train, you ride the riverboat, which were both really cute, and she's telling you facts while you're riding. So we enjoyed that part of it. It ends near Small World, and you get a lightning lane for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and you're right there. So we went ahead and used that at that point. Exactly the same as Disney World, no differences there. That Toontown area is crazy back there. I guess that's where Mickey and Minnie meet in their house, and I think that's a big draw.
Yeah, and the Bluey area is right there next adjacent or whatever, and that has made it
Okay.
much, much busier.
That makes sense. Yeah, because that it was wild back there. It's like, "We gotta get out of here." But we enjoyed Mickey and Minnie's as always. That was fun. Then it was time to head back. Time for another break. We love our breaks, our midday breaks. And we
Okay,
went
so the
to the
tour
Cosmo.
would so it sounds like the tour you enjoyed it. So is that something you would recommend?
I would. Yeah, I would
Mhm.
definitely recommend that. I think, like I said, with the Lightning Lane, we also, we'll talk about later, get preferred seating at the fire or the parade for that
Mhm.
evening, which was nice. They gave you popcorn, just some little things like that. It's only 2 hours, which I think is just the right length for a tour. And yeah, I would recommend. I think it's going away tomorrow,
Oh, okay,
unfortunately,
okay.
but I'm sure something else will come very similar in its place, but that
Yeah.
70th specific will go away.
Okay, so you are taking some time at the resort.
We are. Yeah. So we had talked about swimming. The pool was insane, and I can understand why. It was really hot that day. It was cute. Woody, Jesse, and Bo Peep were out there doing a dance party. The kids were loving that, but yeah, the pool was wild. So we decided to eat at Craftsman's Grill. They had a Hawaiian hot dog as the hot dog of the month. We had that and a salad, I think, and both of those were very good. But yeah, that pool area was wild. We never made it down to swim. Yeah, it's smaller than I would have thought. I guess for that size hotel, a smaller pool area. But yeah, the kids were having a great time.
Yes, just not you and your dad.
Yeah, it was not for us, but that's fine. I'm glad they were enjoying it. And while we were back at the hotel, I was stacking lightning lanes for the evening because we were heading back into Disneyland. So I had Big Thunder, Indiana Jones, Tiana's, and Haunted Mansion all stacked for that evening. So we went back around 5 o'clock and we did all those. So I mean, back to back to back, it worked out great. The only problem was Tiana's. Our feet got soaked.
Mhm.
And it was funny because it wasn't on the big drop, it was on one of the small drops. The water just sloshed into the boat, and, I mean, we were both like, "Oh, no, this is exactly what we didn't want to happen." So we ended up going back to the room again and changing shoes before the Paint the Night parade because I don't think I could have made it sloshing around. So just be aware, like, maybe bring some little waterproof booties or something if you're going on Tiana's, because I felt like I got a lot more wet, not upper body, but like lower body feet definitely got quite a bit more wind.
Mhm.
So we changed shoes and got back into Disneyland for Paint the Night. I love this parade. I loved it. It was so great. The floats obviously are amazing, but I love too that they have so many performers in between each float. And I wish Starlight would add more of that. I think it
Yep.
really needs it.
And
But
you
I
just nailed why some of us aren't big fans of Starlight because it's like when you're spoiled by things like Paint the Night, it's like, well, we know you can do it. Why don't you do it?
well, and they everyone looks like they're having a good time.
Mhm.
I love seeing people do what they love, and I
Mhm.
feel like so many of those performers really are.
Mhm.
It just adds so much to the parade. It is such a good show. The reserved seating was wonderful. It's right up near Main Street, right right near the Main Street train station there up front. So it took a little while for the parade to get there, but maybe 15 minutes just to get back from Small World down to Main Street. Would I mean, do not miss this parade if you go. It was so cute. The music was great, just wonderful vibes. At this point, my dad was tired. He decided he was going to head back. I wanted to stay for a little bit. I am so glad I did. Disneyland is like a big show at night. I mean, I think you really could see like four different shows somehow in a night. I think you could do Paint the Night, Wondrous Journey, Tapestry of Happiness, and Fantasmic somehow. I don't know.
Mhm.
There's got to be a
You
way.
you can also do World of Color at the DCA and then, like, a lot of times you can do it all.
Yeah, yes, again, spoiled. This will spoil me because I loved their fireworks show at Wondrous Journey. I mean, nothing's gonna touch Happily Ever After for me, but it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I loved the music. The projections aren't as grand because the castle's not as grand, but I don't know, it was a really, really good show and very easy to find a spot to watch. They've got everything roped off really well, and I found that once it started, people just moved up, so I just slid kinda in the back and still could see just fine. So, yeah, really I was really glad I stayed for that, and then walked straight back to Small World to watch Tapestry of Happiness. There was nobody back there. I guess this is not very popular, and it's just a little cute projection show. But I enjoyed it. Would definitely say if you're there, there's plenty of, ledges to sit on. It's very comfortable. So watch that back there. I was getting tired at this point, Shannon, too. It was getting late. I did wanna ride teacups at night. I love the colored lanterns above, the fact that you're outside. It was beautiful. That was just, of course, a walk on. And then I decided that I would do single rider for Matterhorn again to see if I liked it any better at night. I did not, but I was glad to do it again. And then I was right there at the monorail, so I decided to take the monorail from Tomorrowland up to the front of downtown Disney and then walk to the Grand Californian from there, and I was back by 11. We had a little over 20,000 steps that day, so another very full and long, but fabulous day.
Mhm. Okay. The next day was Monday, August 3rd, and you had plans to rope drop DCA.
Yes. And this is just another wonderful benefit of the Grand Californian. It is so easy. Their security opens up at 7:30, so you can get there a little bit later, although it builds very quickly, but you can get there a little bit later and still be towards the front of the line. That was just so wonderful. I had heard that Soarin' opens early before the rest of the park. So we were gonna try that because you're right there, like, right there at Soarin' when you walk in. So we go line up, there was a little group there, and sure enough, they let us right in before, 8 o'clock. I mean, it was right after 7:30. We were row B1. We were off by 7:45, which was kinda wild. I mean, I don't know why they do that, but I loved it. It was great. I'm a rope dropper, so I love a hack like that that'll get you
Mhm.
on something quickly, right? We were able to then get right up to the Avengers campus rope drop and walked right on web slingers. Again, little morning arm workout
Mhm.
on web slingers, but that was cute. I had gotten a lightning lane for Guardians right when we walked in, and I used both of them. My
Oh,
dad,
oh, you and your
um,
dad.
dad just decided to sit and wait for me, and then I just used his and then used mine again. So fun. Love, love, love that ride. But yeah, so then we went to Toy Story Mania and used a lightning lane there. Totally the same as at World. Still fun, but the same. This is when I did single rider on Incredicoaster. So that took about 10 minutes. And I didn't make a note of what the standby was, but it was a fairly decent line at that point. This was right around 10, I think that we got there. But yeah, I loved Incredicoaster. That was really fun. It really does have a little bit of everything. You go upside down, you have drops, you have launches. Yeah, it's well done. So I enjoyed that. I was happy to get off without being evacuated also.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a little PTSD from the earlier day.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so then we went and hung out in San Francisco area. This was really cute. I was glad we got there early and hung out there early. It was so quiet, tons of tables with shade. We walked by later and it was just bananas. So I think it was nice to be there early in the morning. We got a beer flight at the Cerveceria. They had a really good orange cider that we ended up really liking there. The Japanese peanuts, that was fun. And then I got some pot stickers also from the Lucky Fortune Cookie. That whole area is just really cute. They've got the bakery there with the Baymax bread and the Mickey bread. So yeah, we really enjoyed just taking a nice break there before it got very crazy. So at this point, we walked the whole length of the Pixar Pier, which is very cute, but it's very hot back there. Not much shade, kind of on that pier area. We got a peach cider, split a peach cider at Bayside Brews, right there by the swings, I think. I think the swings are closed, right?
I don't know.
But there are a couple like more kid rides back there.
Mhm.
At this, we went to the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail, and I don't know like how I don't remember how we heard about this. This was really cute, and it's shaded, it's peaceful. You know, there were obviously it's a kids play area. There are little zip lines, there are slides, and the kids were having the best time. They were so cute. We just laughed watching the parents go down the slide, come back up, go down, the kids can go forever and the parents are starting to look exhausted. So we loved sitting and taking a break there. It was a lovely, lovely little spot. So don't it's kind of tucked back in. You really, I think, have to be looking for it. But if you're there, definitely worth walking through. We enjoyed that. So yeah, then we decided to use a Soarin' Lightning Lane. So we got all loaded up in our seats. The music started, the top came down, and then it stopped. And so we waited about 15 minutes. Finally, somebody came in and they had to unbuckle us and get us off. So at this point, we were 1 for 3 on Soren. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but they did give us a anytime pass when we got off. So that was nice. Appreciated that. We did a little shopping at this point, and I was kind of disappointed in the merch. I was bummed. It was all Halloween, and I know they had just gotten in the Halloween stuff, and it's a big deal. I know people love that. That's not something that we really wanted. So, yeah, I didn't love the merch options. We did find a few things, but yeah, if you love Halloween, you will love going to Disneyland right now or World, I'm sure. The other thing I thought was interesting is far fewer people wear ears at Disneyland. I feel like when you go to World, everyone has ears on. You look very normal if you're wearing ears. I felt like hardly any adults had ears on in Disneyland. Yeah, just a little difference that I thought was funny. Maybe they're just cooler in California. But we were back to the hotel by about 12:45. We just sat on the balcony, had a beer. We did a lot of that. That's definitely a theme. We loved people watching off the balcony. Sometimes we'd see some of the same people go by. So yeah, we loved that. We went back to Disneyland in the afternoon because I really wanted to watch the Tangled show at the Royal Theater. And we had seen a little bit of it the day before, and I thought it looked cute, so I wanted to just duck into that. This was fabulous, and it reminds me in so many ways of the Frozen show at Epcot, the Frozen sing-along, because it's fun for kids, but it's also really fun for adults. There's just humor for everyone in it. So the performers were wonderful. It's probably 20 minutes long, very short, but very cute. Would definitely recommend that. So, yeah, that was a hit. We, at that point, went back across to DCA. So easy. I loved being able to get back and forth that easily. Oh my gosh.
So for the people that say, "Should I go to Disneyland and not get park hoppers?" Oh.
I don't know how you would. They shouldn't even offer it without Park Hopper. You have to have Park Hopper. It is necessary and so easy. Yeah, because we just popped right across. It's just literally across the way. So guess what? I rode Guardians again with our anytime passes from Soarin'. So yeah, got on that one again. I just couldn't help myself. We went and watched PhilharMagic, Mickey's PhilharMagic. Grabbed a quick burger and some fries at Smoke Jumpers right there by Soarin'. Just something quick before the World of Color dessert party, which is what we had next on for the evening. That was, let's see, that was $94 per person. I would definitely say this was worth it. You don't have a completely unobstructed view, but it's a very good view. You can still see everything. You have a seat. You have an option of a high top versus low top table. Definitely take the high top table. You have a much better view over the people in front of you. You have a little box of food. It's got some obviously desserts in there, but some cheese and crackers, some savory things. It's not a meal. I don't think we ate much of anything out of there, but I think just for the seating, for the chair, that was really a nice thing
The
to have at this
the
point in the day.
drinks.
Yes, yeah, you get 2 drinks. I had some sparkling wine, so that was good as well. So, yeah, it's a really cute show. It was, I think I said in my pre-show, it was a lot like, in many ways, the old Animal Kingdom show, which I'm blanking on the name right now, but that had all the projections.
Well, you said Rivers of Life, right? That's what your
Yes,
compare is?
Rivers of Life or Light, I can't remember.
Light.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, light, not life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I think, and it was a lot like that, where you've got the water shooting up and the
Mhm.
projections on the thing. I mean, you don't have the boats going through, but I thought that was really cute. I love the Muppets were a part of that, Rainbow Connection gets me every time. That was just a cute way to end it. So, yeah, that was a wonderful I'm glad we did that. It was a wonderful thing to do. Great show, and then at that point, we were back to the hotel, and I think this day was a little over 23,000 steps, so another very, very long but good day.
Mhm. Right, you had one more park day, Tuesday, August 4th. You were celebrating your dad's birthday, even though his actual birthday was the following day, and you called it a catch-all day. So what did you decide to do on this day?
This was definitely catch-all day. We had actually been making a list of some things that we hadn't gotten to that we wanted to make sure that we did on this last day. So I'm really glad we had this day. And I think I wouldn't take away a day. I wouldn't have added a day. Like 4 days was perfect. And this day was part of that because it just allowed us to take things at a little bit slower pace.
Mhm.
So we actually ended up switching our park reservation this day to DCA so we could ride Soarin' again and before the park opened. I thought that was really cool. Again, same thing as that first DCA day through security right there. They let us right on, got B1 again. So we had to end Soarin' on a good note and not the breakdown.
Right.
So that was nice. We just left. We left DCA at that point and went across to Disneyland. I think DCA was just opening officially as we were leaving. So walked across to Disneyland and we wanted to go to the monorail because we had really wanted to ride up front.
Mhm.
And that was easy. I thought it was kind of a thing that sometimes they allow you, sometimes they don't. They did. He's like, "Yeah, sure, come on, get up front." So I guess it wasn't as special as I thought it was, but it was still awesome. We really enjoyed it being up front with the conductor, and you can hear him do his announcements, and he's talking to kind of the control center for the monorail. So it was fun. It's a bumpier ride than the monorail at Disney World. It's a lot tighter in the cars, but it was cute. You get out of the bubble a little bit because you can look over and see, like, a Panera Bread and some other,
Mhm.
hotels over there 'cause I think you're riding kind of along that berm that goes around the park, but it was definitely something I think is worth asking and trying to do. So that was fun.
And did you say you boarded that in Disneyland or in downtown Disney?
in Disneyland. Yep, we
Okay.
got on that at Tomorrowland.
Okay. And did you ride it round
So
trip?
we did. Yep,
Okay.
went all the way around. So once we got back, we decided we wanted to go to Tom Sawyer's Island. This was another thing that my dad really remembered from his trip when he was 10. He and his brother running around Tom Sawyer's Island together. So I think now it's called Pirate's Lair or Pirates something on Tom Sawyer's Island, but same thing. This was really fun. It was quiet over there still. It was early. I swear, Shannon, I don't know how kids do not get seriously injured on Tom Sawyer's Island. There were little tunnels that I had to pull my phone out and put my flashlight on because you just can't see. Maybe kids have, I'm sure kids have better eyesight than me, but I could not see a thing. There are just these ladders that you can climb. I don't know how kids don't just, again, get seriously injured. So questionable safety, but super fun. I think kids would absolutely love it. We spent a good bit of time over there just walking through everything. They've got great views. You can see the castle in the Matterhorn. The riverboat will go by, haunted mansions over there. So we kind of love just looking around at some of the views from the island. So yeah, that was fun. Again, a little bit of nostalgia for my dad to go back to a place that he remembers. And I had never been when it was at Disney World, and now I'm too late. So I'm glad that I got to go out at Disneyland. So yeah, that was fun. At this point, we wanted to go get beignets. I'd not I've never had a Disney World beignet, or obviously Disneyland. So we went to the Mint Julep bar and mobile ordered from there, got the beignets and a mint julep. I'm so upset that we did not discover this earlier. They were so delicious. And the mint julep was amazing. It was so refreshing on a hot day. Do they sell mint juleps in Disney World?
Think so. I don't know that I've
I
had
know
one.
okay, I know you can get the beignets at
Yeah.
French Quarter, right?
And in
But
Magic Kingdom.
oh, you can now, that's right.
Yeah. So Casey's Corner often has a frozen mint julep lemonade. And then like Saratoga Springs serves them. They're all frozen. So it's a little bit different than the one.
Still be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are so delicious. Oh, loved them.
Yeah. I'm sure if we've missed a place, people will be letting me know. But
Yeah,
yeah,
please. Well,
I
please do because I would love to know.
I was actually thinking that they might have it now back by Tiana's, but maybe not. Because it makes sense, right? It's that New Orleans theming.
Oh,
Mm.
they are so good. It would hit just right on a hot Disney World day as well. So yeah, hopefully if you do not have them in World, please bring them to World because I will definitely buy one.
Mhm.
So yeah, then we went and walked through Sleeping Beauty's castle. This was kind of another thing that was just on our list. It's cute. It's kind of dark. They've got some little vignettes that tell the story of Sleeping Beauty. You know, something worth doing. I guess you don't often get to go into the castle. So that was fun, cute. At this point, it's getting really hot. So we decided it was break time to go back and sit on the balcony for a while. We went and got a sandwich at Earl of Sandwich there in downtown Disney. And again, just took a breather back at the room, sat out on the balcony, had a beer, just called home, all the things. And we were also thinking about packing up at this point, trying to get ready to go home. So putting a few things in a suitcase, thinking about what time we needed to grab the Uber the next morning. So kind of all those not so fun things, but things that you do have to think about. We did decide to go back to the park around 3 o'clock because I wanted to watch the other show at the Royal Theater, which was Beauty and the Beast. This was also wonderful, so cute. I mean, again, would highly recommend. So they do 3 showings of Tangled and 3 showings of Beauty and the Beast, and then they alternate which one is morning and which one is afternoon. So this one, of course, was Beauty and the Beast. One tip for parents that the family behind us was telling me about, I guess the Rapunzel or Belle will come out after one of the shows and greet the kids. And if you ask the cast members in the morning, they usually can tell you which show it will be. So there were a bunch of little girls staying after the show, because Belle was gonna come out, and it was adorable. So, really, really enjoyed that show. I wanted to make sure I caught that, and I would definitely say catch both because they're both wonderfully done.
Mhm.
So, at this point, we went back to Tiana's and got more beignets and mint juleps because we did not wanna leave that for next time. Again, I was sorry it took me that long to discover it. We sat for a little while at Tiana's. That's a great place to just sit. You can, again, watch the riverboat go by, people watch, great shade, plenty of umbrella tables there. So we did spend a little bit of time there, even after we'd finished our beignets and mint juleps, just kind of enjoying the vibes there. That's a really cute area. I like that part of the park quite a bit. So this was where we kind of started thinking about finishing up at Disneyland. We ended up riding the train from New Orleans Square all the way around to the Main Street station. We made our last thing at Disneyland Park watching the Walt Disney A Magical Life.
Mhm.
There in the theater right there at the front of the park. I thought this was a great show. It was a perfect way to end that part, that park, specific park. I know people have mixed feelings about the animatronic. I thought it was really cool. The fact that they can get it that realistic is amazing to me. So I actually really enjoyed that part. But yeah, we ended up walking out of Disneyland, saying goodbye to that, and heading over one more time to DCA. Because guess why? I wanted to ride Guardians again. So I wanted that one last ride on Guardians. I'd done a fast pass for that. They also had over at DCA a huckleberry cider that I thought was just delicious. So I wanted to get one more of those. At this point, we said goodbye to DCA, walked right back, again, very close walk, back to the Grand Californian. We were back to the room probably around 8, a little after, just showered, finished packing, and then the last thing was we watched the fireworks from our balcony. They had the music on the TV, so you could listen to the music while the fireworks were going off. We had a wonderful view of the fireworks, and it was just a great way to end the trip. Just, we loved our balcony. We loved sitting out there watching the fireworks. We'd had a wonderful time. So that was the end of that day. That was just under 18,000 steps that day. So very, very light walking day this day.
Like, yeah, it's still a lot of steps, but compared to your others. So, okay, the next day was Wednesday, August 5th. You had an early flight home.
Yeah. So yesterday was super easy. We had an early flight. It was 7:15. Again, it was about $50 to Uber to the airport back through Charlotte, and we were back home by 7 o'clock. So again, just a very easy travel day. American Airlines did us right. So yeah, it is obviously a long way for us to travel from the East Coast, but I was very impressed with how easy it was to get there and back. I know it's not always like that, but it was nice that this trip, that piece of it came together. So yes, so that yesterday was really just a travel day, which thankfully went smoothly.
Yeah. And now
That is it.
we're talking the next morning, so it's all very fresh. Okay, so overall, sounds like a good birthday trip.
An amazing birthday trip. Yeah.
Mhm. I will tell you something that I was thinking about the whole time is how much you would like this during the holidays
Mm,
because It's a Small World is completely different. I mean, I think you need to see it in its classic form as well, but, like, It's a Small World's completely different, Haunted Mansion's completely different, Cars Land and the hotels, the decorations, plus the projections on It's a Small World are completely different, and their Christmas parade is just a part of normal park hours, you don't have to have a party ticket like you do at Disney World. So I think now that you've seen, everything in its, like, typical form, that would be really fun to see in its Christmas
I
form.
need to go back.
Yes, I think if you go back I'm always encouraging people because I think as a Disney World person, you would be shocked how much they do at Disneyland. But
Okay.
again, that's another one of those spoiled things because 'cause you're like, "If they can do all that at Disneyland, why can't they do it at Disney World?" But yes, I think you would love it. Okay, so overall, really good trip. I already know that you really like the Grand Californian.
We loved it. Absolutely. Would definitely, like I said, there's no chance of staying off site now. Gotta be Grand California.
You love it there. And you referenced it being hot, but it doesn't seem like it was super crowded on these dates.
It did not seem super crowded. I it's hard because I don't have anything to compare it to at Disneyland, but I never felt like, other than that one rope drop, which was wild, never felt really, like, I don't know, hemmed in by all the people. So I haven't gone back to touring plans to look at what the actual crowd level was, but I bet it would have been fairly low on these days. Even the chalk walk day, we were kind of nervous, but it I don't think it really affected the crowds that day very much. I think a lot of those people maybe stuck around for a few minutes and then rode a couple things and then left, or just they were locals and they can come there anytime, so they just went on home.
Yeah, that was a Sunday, so maybe they just left after that. They did it as a weekend thing. Okay, you had told me that you had kept track of your costs. Are you able to share those now?
Yes, I am. Yeah. So I'll go through just package flights, dessert party. I mean, you can spend as much or as little on food and merch as you want at any of these parks, but our package, and this was a 4 night, 4 full day park hopper lightning lanes, that was 4,475. So splitting that, that's just over 2,000, obviously, a person. The flights were 430 a person, which is not terrible. The dessert party and tour were 214. So the cost breakdown, if you look at it per person, so I'm splitting the package between me and my dad, would be $2,883. And again, that's package, flight, and then the tours and dessert party. What I think is interesting, because I went back, we did a trip in June to World. So I went back and looked at those costs just to see how it would stack up,
Mhm.
because that was also a 4 night, 4 park day. We used that 4 day, 4 park ticket deal that they had. And that was at Riviera. So probably a comparable type of hotel. And that worked out per person to be $3,570. So $687 more for a very similar Disney World trip with, I don't know. Oh, and that did include lightning lanes as well. I included that in my Disney World. So that's, again, package flight, lightning lanes, dessert party. We did one of those. So yeah, $687 more than land. I mean, I'm not surprised by that. I kind of figured probably World would be more, but it is kind of shocking that you can go all the way to the other side of the country and it's less money.
Mhm. And, like, you stayed at the most expensive hotel. Like, I if you wanted to make it less expensive, you could, but,
Right.
you know, it I've never understood, California is not a cheap place to live, but I've never understood why Disneyland, to me, has always felt affordable, relatively speaking.
I know. None of it's affordable, let's be honest. It's crazy expensive, but yeah, it was a little bit less for us.
Mhm.
So just something to think about if you're looking between the two. But I have to say, I mean, Disney World is my home park. Like, I'll still keep going there. I'm not gonna fly across the country every time to do land. That's still where my heart is. So I think I'll still probably be hitting that one more, but I would love to go back to land someday. Maybe I won't
Yes.
wait as long as my dad did, but I'll try to get back there.
Yeah, and did it sort of scratch the nostalgia itch for him that he was kinda looking for?
Yeah, I think so. And I think he enjoyed celebrating a little bit out there. Couldn't get him to wear his birthday button, but we did enjoy ourselves. So yeah, I think it did for him, brought back some good memories and of course made some new ones.
Mhm. Well, overall, it seems like a really good time, and I'm always excited to talk to people going to Disneyland for the first time because there's just nothing like it.
Yeah.
So,
And I think if you are a Disney fan, you have to do it. It's like a pilgrimage. You have to make your way out there. So I would encourage people that love World to definitely make that jump at least once if you can, because I think it's definitely worth it just for the little differences to be able to compare and contrast. It does feel more authentic, I guess, in some ways, because that really was the park that Walt built. So I think for those of us that do have that Disney love, definitely make your way out there if you can.
yeah, good advice. All right. Well, I appreciate you taking that time to share, and I'm glad that it went well. And happy birthday to you and your dad.
Thank you so much, Janice. Appreciate it.
I hope you enjoyed my conversations with Sarah and might have found it interesting to compare the difference in the cost between her Disneyland trip and her recent Disney World trip. I am particularly passionate right now about how expensive Disney World often is, and how you can do other things maybe for a little bit less money, including cruises or Disneyland. I just think the Disney World can be cost prohibitive for so many people that if there are other alternatives, then that's a good thing to share, and Disneyland could be one of those. We did keep talking on Patreon, including about her history with Disney World, because this is her first Disneyland trip. Disney World is her home park, and so I just wanted to know, like, how did you get started? What is your experiences there? And also, I did ask, what about cruising? Have you considered a cruise? So anyway, that is up on Patreon right now in both video and audio form. Please go and check that out. I think that'll wrap up this episode of WW Prep to Go. For more information, please check the show notes in your podcast app or head to the website, wdwprepschool.com. Click on podcast at the top, scroll down to episode 526. Until next time, I will see you on the site.